Unfortunately, some of the things we did a few years ago are now easy. They're trivial. Here's an app we built in the beginning in 2012, 2013. It was cool. I don't know if you guys remember, I don't think it's like this anymore, but if you wanted to load Airtime back in the day, you would get one of these slips from a Pick and Pay, and you would take a photo of the slip. Oh no, you wouldn't take a photo, that was my app. You would type in the numbers on the slip, and then you would get Airtime. And we were like, but what about old people? We had a client who came to us and said, we want to make something that will work for visually impaired people to be able to load Airtime. It'll be an app. You can take a photo of the slip, and you get your Airtime. Awesome. So we built this. It took us like 6 months. It was complicated. We had to figure out how the app was going to find out where the PIN code was. It has to localize it. That was a whole bunch of custom feature engineering. Then every digit, we built a giant database of digits. We went and bought so much Airtime that we could literally have run Cell C for a month. And then we basically just had all these digits in a database, and we would, we made little machine learning models. I think there was support vector machines that could distinguish between the digits, and we got it to the point where this thing, it was 99.99% accurate, where it was running in milliseconds, and it was on the app, and it was great, and our customer was happy, and we were done. But I tried this yesterday. I just sent that image from the slide. I didn't even bother. I just sent the image from the slide into this thing, and I said, can you read the PIN codes in these two slips? And it's a reasoning model, so it thinks for a while. 58 seconds wouldn't have been great for the granny and the coder. I mean, hey, when am I getting my Airtime? But those numbers are perfect. And look at that one on top. I mean, that's a hard case. We lost sleep over pins like that one that are so faded. We had to do all kinds of clever things to read it. This thing figured it out. It says it's a bit faded. It's a bit concerned, but it's right. So that project would have been really quick today, and maybe the client would have done it themselves. That's another one that we did. We made video dubbing. It was pretty fun. I won't be able to play the video for you because I think, well, let's see. No, you can't hear it, hey? But this is a scene from Pulp Fiction, and we made Samuel L. Jackson speak British. It was fun. We had a lot of fun with this thing. Basically, we built something that could auto-dub any video. And there he was saying, hamburgers. But the important thing is that what we did was we thought it was really cool. We took the sound wave and we lined it up to the original sound wave. So the sound wave in the new language or the new dialect would be lined up to the original sound wave using a thing called dynamic time warping. It was a cool algorithm. And it worked. And the client was happy because movie studio, think of it. If you have to say the same line over and over and over again, you're using up time, and time is money. So if I can you say it once, and I take that audio and I map it to the target and it lip syncs, then you spend less time and you spend less money. So it was great. But today, you've got models that will take that video and make the lips move differently. So you don't need, really, to do all this stuff to the audio. And so again, things have changed. But not everything has changed. I just want to make sure I'm not overrunning. Not everything has changed, because here's a problem we solved back in the day. It was education. And the idea was we decided to run an experiment with some schools on using assessment to enable more learning. We let the teachers give all their students laptops, and we said, every lesson they must answer a quiz. Every single lesson they must do a quiz at the end of the lesson. We're going to use what they get right and what they get wrong to give you, the teacher, feedback. We're going to tell you, you know what, you didn't teach trigonometry too well there. I don't think they understand double angle formulas. And we're going to give you specific examples to take them to the next lesson. So the next lesson, you're going to go and talk about double angle formulas only, because that's what all your students didn't know. And then what we realized was, actually the teachers in a lot of contexts didn't know that thing. Because, it's in low income areas, the teachers are new, they maybe know some of it, but we teach them that thing. Because we'd realize their students didn't know it, and then we'd give them examples and they would learn it. And it was extremely successful. We even managed to figure out how to cluster students. So we tell the teacher, tomorrow, don't teach the whole class. Take these students, put them in a group, and tell them to do, okay, this was made up, but tell them to do cos, draw cos graphs. And take these students and put them in a group and tell them to do circle geometry. And they're going to work on their weaknesses, and you put one strong student in each group at that thing, and they can bounce it off each other. This worked so well, we went from a 20% pass rate to 100%, the grades were going up, it was amazing, but then we had this problem. We were like, cool, it's going to work. And then the teacher turned around and said, yeah, the problem is these laptops are on loan, And we're going to spend the money that we have as a school on fixing our toilets because, you know, if I have to pick between laptops and kids being able to go to the loo, it's not really a contest. But this is a challenge. Now, I tried with the AI and then I said this and then it was like, well, I guess you try and get cheaper laptops or you try and get ruggedized tablets. And I've seen some schools doing that now, but it's slow and it's not so good. But as humans, we carried on thinking. We said, what if we do this? What if we design a thing you can just take a photo of? Now the students just need some paper. You can even laminate this thing and then fill it in with a Koki and you erase it at the end of the day. So you don't even have to print it every time. So we went back to the teachers and we were like, I think we've got it. We can still run the test every day. You just take photos of each desk at the end. And they were like, no, hell no. So did we give up? No. We carried on. We used a thing called Bayesian optimization. Have you guys heard of that? That's a stats method. You've got limited, it's hard to evaluate a function. So you approximate it with the Gaussian process. And then you figure out what to do next based on that. Our function was how well does the phone scan a form, but the variables of the function were the form, the whole structure of it. We could change the size of things, we could change layout, we could change all of that. And we just ran millions of different forms. Every time we would generate like the form with a different width of these blocks, with a block here or no block, with lines on the side. We varied all of this. We didn't change the scanner, we changed the document. It was pretty fun. We used Bayesian optimization, we optimized it and checked what we could do at the end. This is one photo with 60 forms. And all of them got scanned. So now we tell the teacher, throw the forms on the floor at the end of the class and take one photo. And you got the data. And they were like, okay, we can do that. I suppose I can pick up the forms. So, and it worked. And I think the point is, you know, AI is going to know things. It's going to be good at things. It's going to replace some things. But the grit and the going out and the getting the data and the doing the not so fun stuff and just powering through, that's a human thing. Ask hard questions and keep asking. Keep going. When all things tell you it's not going to work, just keep going. You know, like here's 3 problems we've solved. That's the first one that I showed you, but you can try and think about the other 2 and what you would do. It's hard, right? But you got to keep going. You can ask me about them if you want.